Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I have come up with an idea that will rev up the entertainment of this channel by quite a bit. And myself, Sara Longfield, and Polyend have been working night and day really hard to bring this to you. And I've been working on this a whole bunch. And I guess rather than just building it up, I'm just going to come out with it. So you ready? Not bad, huh? That's my impression of a outside. Also, I have formally challenged Sara Longfield to a knife fight, but with social distancing and everything going on, we have decided to just sample some things around our studio and then make songs on Polyend's tracker using only those assets. Now, if it weren't for Bill Gates and George Soros shooting 5G corona beams into our eyes, I'd tell you, my viewers, to have a knife fight with me too, but I can't. So at the end of this video, I'm going to give you and I'm going to give you a really awesome challenge. And if you win that awesome challenge, you're going to win a really awesome prize. So here's what's going on. Firstly, this is one of two videos. The other video is on Sara Longfield's channel, and it's documenting her side of this challenge. And you should either watch that before this video or after this video, or I guess you could even watch it simultaneously with this video if you're suffering from some kind of brain injury. Sara and I basically sampled some stuff around our studio, and the only rule to these samples that we've made is that if there is some sort of rhythmic element to what we're sampling, it had to be 130 BPM. Then, using only the samples that we sent to one another, we had to make a short song on the Polyend tracker. No synths or pedals or effects or anything else used. The only non-tracker activity I did was I lightly mastered it on the computer with the stems that I exported from the tracker. So what you're about to see is an overview of my sample making, and then it will be followed by a small overview of Sara's sample making. Then I will actually hear Sara's track for the first time, which I guess is technically the first time I've made a reaction video on this channel. So let's go. For those of you wondering what's going on, I have my Polyend Poly 2 giving me a 130 BPM clock coming from my DAW where I'm recording this. That's going into a buffered mult. That's going into a whole lot of dividers, into logic gates. And then all of those various clocks are going into something called the Ornaments in Crime, which is a DIY build. It's one of the most advanced modules you could own. And most of the modes of this module is to be generative at a pretty high level for what modular is. You might not be able to see this on the screen, but I also have a Kilpatrick audio pattern generator, which is just getting a pulse from that same thing from my DAW. And then Maths is controlling the envelopes for both pitch and filter. And Quad VCO is the actual voices that you hear. And then all of that's going into this random thing that's not out yet that is giving it some really nice reverb and delay. And so I guess I'm just going to noodle around a bit, and that will be the first thing to send to Sara, I suppose. Ooh, maybe I'll drop one of these pitches down and create a bass. Now I'm going to go completely dry, and I'm actually going to change some of these generators from the touring machines. Now I can actually play around with like the pattern generator and some of this logic and actually make a little bit of a different pattern, maybe going a bit faster. This is my upright that's in my studio, and I have some mics inside it, but I'm also using this Zoom H6 to give myself a little metronome and to also sort of monitor myself a little bit better. And I guess I'm just going to play some things that are compatible with C Dorian to the BPM of 130. Might as well do some D sharp. What you're hearing and seeing right now is Pure Data, which is an amazing open source audio development platform made by the fella who made Max MSP. What I'm using here is Pure Data Extended, and there's also Pure Data Vanilla, which is updated more often. Pure Data Extended is kind of an older version, however, it has a bunch of different libraries. This is a patch that was initially made by Martin Brinkman and has been floating around on my hard drive for what seems like 10 years. It's just called the botch now, and I'm not sure what I did to it, but what I'm going to try to do to it is synchronize it to 130 BPM, which is actually, oddly, something I've never actually done in Pure Data. I've never actually been like, oh, I want a BPM and did it that way. I've always just started with the metro, which is basically cycles in your processor clock or per second. And then, long story short, I've never done it before, and I'm going to try it now. What we want to do is convert the tempo to a millisecond. I'm going to have to write an expression to do that. So that should be times 1,000 because we're dealing in cycles. How did I screw this up already? What am I doing wrong? And let's just see if the expression works first. So I'm going to go up to 120 should say 500, and 130 should be like not even a number, right? Yeah, 461.5. Okay, so this divided by 2 going into there, and let's hear it. This should be 130 BPM. I'm going to do some of these drum sounds from a Machine Drum SPS-I UW Plus, and let's play with that a little bit. Not bad. I think I got all the percussion down and a lot of the melody down. I think I'm going to finish this off by just creating some wavetables and I guess just analog bass notes from the modular, which would be really boring to watch, but that should be a decent sample pack, I do reckon. All right, queuing up Sarah's track now. Let's go. So strange, but I love it. Oh my God, nice. It's like so rainbowy but dark at the same time. So initially on first listen, I have 3 takeaways. 1, what an amazing vibe that she found out of the samples that I sent over, because that vibe wasn't there when I sent them over. That's all coming from her. 2, that had like the lo-fi hip hop Valium feel, but it made me want to dance at the same time, and I don't even dance. 3, now I really wish I applied myself more and spent more time on my track. If you're like me and you want to see what was going on when Sara made that track, you can head over to her channel right now and watch that video. The link's in the description. Now it's my turn to ride the song-making pony. But first, if you are looking for a huge selection of well-produced, scientifically accurate documentaries, I am proud to be a partner with CuriosityStream. CuriosityStream is a streaming platform that works on virtually any device you want to play it on. I've been a member for a long time before our partnership began, and it still is playing a really big role in keeping me sane during this quarantine. The normal subscription price is less than $20 a year, but if you click the little link I got down there for you this week, you could get it for less than $12 a year, or you could get a free trial. So stay smarter while staying inside and help support this channel in the process. All right, now let's make some music. here I am. I am ready to... So Sara has sent me a sample pack to work with, and it's on this little card here. I'm going to pop that in. All right, let's hear these. I like this, I like the wailing. Yeah, that's a 7th. I like the wailing 7th. That's 7th siren. Sort of an FME bass, DX70. Very FME. This is like, almost reminds me of a Sega Genesis, which I think had 4 operators. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Nice. Ooh, it's like the dirtiest sparkle ever, huh? Yeah, I like that. Ooh, nice. Ooh. I could see a D sharp behind this sounding really, really beautiful. I think that's going to be my starting point unless I find something even better here. Yeah, that could fit with the D sharp as well. All right, let's hear these one shots. Nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, I hope we get the kick from that, like, half-step beat. There it is. Woo! I'm gonna have fun working with this. With that little gunshot snare. And this is, like, perfect. That's just a good old sub. And then we have a bass here, too, right? Yeah. Okay. Good job, Sara. I really like these. These are going to be fun to play with. So I guess while we're in this sample loader, I'll actually load some samples. That would be a good idea. And the first order of business, I guess I'll just choose the things I know I'm going to use, because I'm definitely not going to use them all. And I'm probably, since the nature of this instrument is to kind of go deep into a sound and pick up wavetables and things like that, you know, it's sort of the thing where you could use like 2 sounds and create an entire track. So I'm going to start light and then move on from there. So maybe just... that guitar loop I really liked. It's nice, floaty. So here's that beautiful guitar. Maybe we could make a little granular thing with it. So we'll start with slice 1 right there. Okay, then I'll add a slice 2 right there, let's say. So slice 1, start there, slice 2. Okay, so this way I could sort of navigate around the loop, I guess, rather. It's not so much a slice track like you would do with a beat, but this way I guess I get to just sort of, if I want to insert it halfway in the middle in a certain part, I can do that. Or if I want to sync it up, I don't know, if I end up putting in a odd manual swing or something like that, I could do that. Our second instrument, I think maybe I will... Let's actually look for a wavetable in there. I bet there's an interesting one. So I think that's already at a C, so we could actually tune that down a bit. We don't need it that high. That might actually be a candidate for a bass track. All right, let's load up this kick here. That's a D. That should be up a semitone. That way it would fit with sample 1. I believe. I'm an alien. I just like having all of my kicks always tuned. Maybe I'll put a little bit of a bit crusher. Nice. Okay. And then we can tune it with this other kick here. I'm one of these weirdos who really needs everything to be perfectly tuned in terms of like kick drums and snare drums and that. And I don't even think it comes in handy, but I'll spend years on a fucking snare drum because of this. This is that one-shot bass, and I'm actually going to try and make sort of a lead out of it by loading it in as a wavetable. All right, let's almost. I'm getting used to this keyboard slowly. Let that sound a little less stereotypical with the cutoff. So we have a bass, we have a lead, we have a bunch of drum sounds, and we have that sample. And so let's start writing. You know, as cool as it is to have a robotic camera tracking my face, it's actually a little distracting in the workspace I have right now. So bye to my face. Enjoy my hands. So if anybody has watched my first video, you'll remember that you can actually put in different slices. So this will be slice 1. That's actually in your effects. You could choose the slicer as an effector. So looks like 14 might be the place to put the next one. And so, like I was saying, slice, and then we'll do that. They just added delay. I've actually not even played with that in the firmware, so let's have a look. Oh, okay, cool. We have a whole page. Oh, nice. Let's ping pong it then. We could sync it. Like I need a good like hi-hat or something just to give me a sort of a click track to feel the rhythm. I'm going to fill in a little hi-hat, sort of a metronome type deal. Let's hear that. Okay, this helps. I'm glad I did that. This one could have a little bit of glide. So to spare you the boring details, I've been working on this for a little bit longer, and I even had a chicken sandwich here a little bit ago, but here's my progress so far. This is the first pattern, which I'm sure you're familiar with. I'm probably going to bring those hi-hats down a little bit, but in song mode, let's play the song thus far. Oh yeah, this is just a template pattern. There we go. So that's as far as we got. Which would be what? Pattern 7. Pattern 7. So one thing, I'm starting to get a little goofy with the effects here. With like the rolls and whatnot. And what I kind of want to do is I want to start the next pattern. I'm going to copy it, which is done by doing this. Then we're going to go to pattern 8 and paste. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do here is I want this first part to, I like doing this thing in my music, if you're familiar. with any of my music. I like doing something called a tape stop, which is basically where just strategically throughout the song, the music just goes. So try and think of the best place to do that. You know what? Actually, I'm going to copy the pattern from 4 and keep adding things to that. That might be a better idea. Maybe I'll start it at like 3. This is just an experiment. This isn't actually the functionality of the device. I'm just trying to like be weird. Again, this is my first time ever doing anything like this on a tracker, much less this device here. Oh, wow. And so now we could probably bring something back in here. I can make this cymbal sound have a bunch of really insane rolls. Maybe like a Fibonacci roll down. So like, brrr. This has some delay on it, and I just want to make sure that there's none. Yeah, okay. And then here, I could just pan things a little bit. I should tell you that it's been over 15 years since I've actually tried to make something that sounded good on a tracker. I did do some demos for the Polyend feature, and when beta testing this thing, however, I didn't actually sit down and make anything that I would be happy to listen to. I was just sort of trying it out and seeing how powerful the unit was and enjoying myself while doing it. But here, I think I'm like trying to raise the bar a little bit. I'm also trying to like stick to the original tracker workflow as much as possible. I'm not using like a MIDI keyboard or anything like that, and that would actually make me a bit more comfortable writing melodically. So where I'm at now with this song, the song's gotten over a minute, and that's actually longer than I wanted it to be. And I'm starting to realize that I'm not liking what I did with the guitar in the beginning, and so I'm changing that around. But otherwise, this is what we have thus far. Yeah, it is so incredibly different than writing music in any way that I'm used to doing it. Although it still kind of sounds flashbulby to me. You could definitely hear that like the difference in workflow has kind of led to a different structure of song, I suppose. But I do need to accomplish some other things today. So I'm going to give myself like 15 more minutes on this and then export the stems. And then tomorrow with fresh ears, I'll do a quick master in a DAW and I'll bring you with me for that as well. And then we'll have something to send over to Sara. And I'm also really excited to hear what she does with the crap I sent her. Rather than setting up like a condenser microphone and stuff for this little step, I'm just going to quickly do it with this camera. So hopefully everything sounds okay from this microphone. Here I have the SD card from the tracker. I'm going to pop it into my system here. I'm just going to go through the process of loading these stems. I'm going to add a P controller here, and this is not really a trick to anybody. I feel like most FL Studio users kind of know about this already, but I actually prefer it because it's like sidechain compression. We like saying side chaining is just sort of something that we do in mastering or in mixing, but side chaining is actually kind of emulating the process of ducking. And this is actually ducking. So we're not actually trying to duck something or trying to emulate the sound of ducking. We're actually ducking it. And then when we throw it through a master compressor, everything sounds proper and we could adjust every single little thing. I'm going to tweak some things really fast at a higher volume and then send it off to Sara. And I think we're good. So, what do you think? Was my track good? Was it Barely listenable? Was it utter shit? Oh, really? And you think you could do a better job? Well, good, because that's actually the point of this whole video. In the description to this video, you can find a link to download all of the samples that Sara and I made, and what I want you to do is to make a song out of those samples. The person who makes a song that resonates the best with us will get their choice of a Polyend tracker, a Medusa, or a Polyend perk shipped to their doorstep, no strings attached. 2 runner-ups will each get a gift card for 1 year of CuriosityStream membership, and any other tracks that we really like will of course be glorified on this channel. But there are rules, and rules are meant to be broken. But if you break these rules, you can't actually win a prize, so listen closely. Rule number 1, you may use any sequencer or DAW or effect that you like, but you may not introduce new samples or sounds into your song. You can take the samples and mangle them however you want. You could put them in a wavetable synth, you could play them out of an ice cream truck speaker and then resample them from a mile away. You could choose not to mangle them at all and use them how they already are, but your song must originate using our samples. Rule number 2, you can use our samples however or wherever you want beyond this contest as long as you provide attribution, aka give us a shout out when you win a Grammy. Rule number 3, all songs must be submitted by 12 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday, May 8th, and you must use the Google form in the description to submit your track. Rule number 4, you must provide Sara, myself, and Polyend a perpetual license to your submission. This is actually because we're allowing you to do whatever you want with our samples or your song, but we don't want YouTube to flag us for copyright infringement a month later. Unfortunately, the idiotic copyright robots on YouTube don't understand attribution licenses. All they know is violence. This short and easy to read license agreement will also be in the Google form where you submit your file. Rule number 5, only 1 submission per artist or group or band. If you collaborate with somebody else on a submission, you end up winning, you only get 1 prize. You can saw it in half, you could fight to the death over it, I don't care. Rule number 6, if you earn more than $200,000 a year as a professional musician, we ask that if you do win the first prize, you give it to the second runner-up. I cannot imagine the shitstorm if Kanye won a Polyend Medusa. That being said, Kanye or any successful musician, we would love to hear it if you submitted a track, but if you win first place, we just ask that you give it to a less gear-abled musician. I actually struggled quite a bit with this rule. Is it communism? It's a weird ethical place, isn't it? Rule number 7. This isn't really a rule, so I guess I'll just phrase it as one. The winners must be picked by myself, Sara Longfield, or Polyend, using random numbers as file names to prevent bias. We actually don't want to know your identity until after we have already picked the winner. As much fun as public voting is, we've decided not to do it because all too often with these types of contests, the person with the most followers or the person who hustles the most to get their followers to vote end up getting an unfair advantage. Finally, the Polyend tracker is not released yet, so if you do win and you choose that to be your prize, you will get it shipped to you in June. However, if you win and choose the Polyend Medusa or the perk, you will get it shipped to you upon announcement of the winner. Void where prohibited. You're going to get another overview of these rules and any additional legal mumbo jumbo in the Google Forms, and I think that covers my legal responsibility. If you haven't already, go watch the other half of this video over on Sara's channel, and most importantly, make some amazing, beautiful, insane music with these samples. As always, if you like this video or if you learned anything, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you want me to cover in the future. And of course, check out CuriosityStream with the link below if you want to get smarter and keep me one step further from an OnlyFans account. Bye.